Alright guys, welcome back to the shop, and we're back on the bench today with something new. This is the King Kong. This is the 210 GT, ready to fly. Everything in this box that you need to get started in FPV racing. So we're going to go ahead and open this box up. Before we do that, I'm going to tell you something special about this video. You've probably already seen it in the title, but we're going to do another giveaway, and you can win this one. All you have to do is comment below, tell me about why you want to fly, or why you do fly. Also let me know where you're from, and make sure to have your email somewhere in there, either on your YouTube channel or have a Facebook link, because if I can't contact you, I can't give this to you. Winner pays shipping. So let's go ahead and get on with the review. Good luck, everybody. I love that we're doing these giveaways. Almost seems like we're giving something away once a week now. So I want to keep this stuff coming out to you guys. Hopefully you get lucky this time and you get this one in the mail at your doorstep. So let's go ahead, without further ado, let's show you what's included with this, and we'll go outside and do a flight test. So let's go ahead and get started with this review. This is a really nice looking quadcopter. It kind of reminds me of the Tweaker a little bit, maybe some other possible design. Maybe you can comment down below, let me know what this one looks like, but it's a nice looking quad, very nice. You can get these in either green setup like this, or you can get them in red with those extra, they look like 3D printed parts, but they're not 3D printed, they're actually plastic molded motor guards on here, so that's pretty cool, and camera mount. And also something new that I haven't seen a whole lot before is a rubber sleeve over top of this to protect this from snapping off, because a lot of new guys and me, I still crash often, and this separates and pops in half, and it's really hard to get that back on. Some guys, you never quite do get it back on, so you can still fly without that top on there, but it just doesn't look quite as nice. So the frame, right away we have a 4K carbon fiber bottom plate on here. It is a unibody, and it looks like a really nice grade of carbon fiber. It's not the super cheap China looking stuff like I've seen before. This is actually pretty nice, and it also has landing bumpers on the bottom. You can choose to take those off if you don't like the extra weight, but I do see that they come all the way through the frame right here. They are mounted up through the frame, so maybe this could be a stress point. There are also two holes here, but these are pretty thick arms. I don't really suspect that they'll break, and if they do break, it's not the end of the world, because you could probably get a new bottom frame on this for maybe $15 to $20, who knows how, probably even cheaper than that. But we have a CCD camera on here, and that's a pretty nice FPV camera for your first quadcopter. Also on the motors are pretty decent on here, guys. We have King Kong, and those are 2205 2300 kVs. They look pretty nice. The coils in there look okay. I think we're going to have plenty of power for those. ESCs also on board are BL Heli 20 amp ESCs. Up inside here we have the PDB on the very bottom of the stack. In the center we have that CC3D, and this is capable of running on clean flight. So don't worry, don't get upset. You're going to be able to tune this using clean flight. I would probably use base flight. If you go into the Chrome Web Store, you can download Base Flight and do your editing there. But this already comes set up with all the flight modes you need, beginner, intermediate, and expert mode, which will allow no stabilization on here whatsoever. Already programmed on the switches on your transmitter, so that's pretty cool. And it comes with that FlySky i6. On the left hand side is your arm switch, and on the right hand side is your modes. Now, tucked in the back underneath here, we have a vertical mounted 600 milliwatt transmitter. It is not switchable, so you're not going to be able to switch it to, say, 200 milliwatt or 25 milliwatt for racing, close proximity racing. This one's mostly going to be for some big wide open field spaces and flying by yourself. If you turn this one on at the race field and other people are nearby you, it's going to probably run over top of their video and they won't be able to see while they're flying. So don't power this one up near anyone else racing or already in the air. Very, very important to talk to people before you fly if you show up at a field where there's people around. But LEDs in the back here, and that's really cool because they're covered, and they're nicely covered actually. This is something different than what I've seen before. Looks really cool when it's plugged in. So I'll show you the battery, and I can show you those LEDs real quick. This is a 3S battery, and this is great to start out with, guys. If you're just getting into this, 1300 3S is great. It's a 35 C rating. Not a huge C rating on the battery, but this is going to be perfect for beginners. So green lights in the back goes along with the theme of the quad. I'm going to assume that the red color combo has a red light on the tail. So pretty cool, because someone coming up behind you can see you, and it causes a better visual for someone coming up behind you in a race, which is great. Also, don't worry about that 600 milliwatt transmitter, because you can switch it out to something different, like a 200 or a 25 milliwatt if you want to race this frame. That is not a big deal at all. You can get those for around $25. Now this quad, as it's sitting right now, is 331 grams, so it is fairly light for a 200 size quad. I've seen them in upwards of 400 grams, so the power to weight ratio is going to be actually pretty nice. And the instruction manual that comes along with it, this is one of the nicest instruction manuals that I've probably seen with a quad so far this year. It's all fully in color. Everything is printed in here in English. It shows you different versions of micro receivers that you can put inside here. It shows you information on the FlySky transmitter and the different variations of other flight controllers and what the options are for each of those that they offer for different various kits you can get. They also have instructions for beta flight and base flight right here. So starting from the first thing you need to do, downloading the configurator. And also shows you prop orientation in here, shows you where your arm switch and your mode switches are on the right and left. That's actually really, really cool. And you also have different configurations in here for mounting your antenna. A lot of pro pilots like to mount their antennas off the back like this, because when it's sticking up in a right hand situation, you can have it shear off or possibly damage the VTX itself. VTX, by the way, is video transmitter. There's two versions available, the 800 TVL CMOS, and this looks like 700 TVL CCD camera. So this one actually has the CCD camera, which is going to give you a little better color contrast, especially in those darker situations. Pretty nice camera on there. And also, guys, look at that. That's a full color illustration exploded view of this quadcopter. That's actually really, really nice. I haven't seen that before in such a nice layout, so I got to give them a thumbs up for that. And on the back of this manual, we also have the rest of the parts that you need that you possibly might have to replace on here. So that's nice. They have everything listed on here in the parts manual. Very, very easy to read. So it comes along with this FlySky i6 radio, and I've used these a lot for various different drones that I've had in my shop. And you know what, this is a fully functional transmitter, and the cool thing about it is that it does have a 3-position switch over here, so you can operate all of your different flight modes. I believe the switches are already set up. Like I said before, in your manual it says everything is ready to go for this RTF, and that's cool for the new guys, because it sucks to get something that you have to go onto your computer, download drivers, and set everything up. Very frustrating for someone new. So arm switches over here on this side. One of these two switches I will find out when I do my flight test to make sure the manual instructions weren't very clear. I also did bench test, and you want to do that on the bench. Bench test and fail safe, very, very important. So go ahead and we'll see which one the arm switch is. It might be both of them at the same time, which would kind of be odd. Let's see here. Not that one. So it's the larger one here that's going to do the arming. So take the props off and go ahead and spool it up, bring it up to a nice spool, and then what you do is cut the radio off. And so now it goes into the minimum throttle value. So this is going to bring it down to slowly land if you have communication failure. What I normally do is I like to have it set up, go inside the configuration, and make it set to drop on disconnect. So that's what I usually do, so I don't have any risk of a flyaway. Now also, by the way, it did take about 15 to 20 seconds, but the motors finally did cut off. So it does have eventually a cutoff safety feature, so you won't have a total flyaway with this quad. That's pretty cool. Now, like I said, I do like these FlySky transmitters, especially because they're only about $50 if you tried to buy one by itself. And it does have Mode 2 set up, so you have the throttle stick over here, and you have your, let's see, roll and pitch there on this side. On-off button is down here, and it's cool because also it warns you about the throttle when you start it up. It does have a computer display screen in here, so if you had some, say, the aileron or rudder axis was off on the setup inside the configuration, you can go in here and you can flip stuff around. So say your switch was facing the wrong direction in Cleave Flight, it was going from this side of the screen to this side, but you need to go this side to this side. You can go in there and change that in this radio. That is really, really cool. So now I'm going to show you the accessories that come with it. This is the B3 charger. I've seen this one quite a bit, and it seems like it's packaged differently again with a different sticker on here. It's a 20-watt charger. Input voltage from 100 to 240 volt AC. Output current is maximum 1.6 amps on here. So you're going to get a decent charge rate on here at 1.6. You don't really want to charge this battery more than that to start out with. So this is your 3S battery connector right here. This is your balance port lead. You just plug that into that little slot right there and it will start charging. Also comes with that power cable. Now also in this box, pretty cool, they have actually looks like 4 sets of 50/40 props. These are 5-inch props, so because this is a 5-inch quad. Now these don't look like the best props in the world. If you order this one, I would go ahead and suggest maybe ordering some additional props with it, maybe some dowel props, maybe try out some tri props on here would be pretty cool. But these narrow props like this, these single blade props are going to give you a little longer flight time, so it's not going to stress the power system quite as much or draw as much amps as a tri prop would, so you'll get a little longer flight time out of these. And I think that's why they include these little single props for the new guys. You guys are wanting to get the most out of your flight time. Usually as a new guy, I usually burn through packs in about 2 to 3 minutes because I fly full throttle a lot. Nice that we have a nice thick Fpv Racer strap inside here, and you also have a cable for connecting it to your computer, this micro USB cable. That's cool also. And you have an additional bind plug in here if you need to bind up another receiver for your FlySky, because you can fly additional models on here. You also have some extra receiver wire in there. I believe this is for hooking up to your ESCs if you want to do some more programming for BL Heli on your ESCs, but I believe you can do this possibly straight through the flight controller USB connection, but CC3D might be a little different, so you might actually have to use this tool to update your ESCs. But you shouldn't have to do that because this one is already set up and ready to roll. Also, lastly, you get some zip ties here and some extra sticky tape and some Velcro for securing your battery. Now, what I'm probably going to do is have this battery, you can have it right on the bottom or the top, but in this configuration I have 2 rails up top here that look like where the strap will go through. So I'll probably put my battery up here and my piece of Velcro up here for this setup. So let's go ahead, let's take this KINGKONG 210 GT out to the field and we'll see how it performs. I know everyone's probably going to ask me, oh, can it fly on 4S? Probably so, because it does have 20 amp ESCs and they are running BL Heli. Should be a very late version of BL Heli on here, so I would trust it to run 4S, but you don't really need to. If you're a beginner and you're just starting out, fly it on 3S first, because that's what I always recommend. It's way more mild and you're going to enjoy the experience without having a ton of power right off the bat, but if and when you're ready for it, it'll be waiting for you.